What's the one thing that everybody can do? Everybody can collect those food scraps that would otherwise go to the landfill. Why not get together and turn them back into soil and make it not something that grandma used to do or grandpa used to do on the farm, but make it the new great pastime of the human race?
Composting, my favorite part of working with the land. It's essentially the transformation of organic matter into new life, a closing of the loop on food production. Welcome to Earthspeed, episode 7, Scraps to Soil. Josh, welcome to Earthspeed.
Thank you, glad to be here.
For those out there that don't know, Josh Whitten created an amazing platform called Make Soil, and he's basically a matchmaker for people who have food waste and people who are making compost so that they can come together and make amazing, rich, nutrient-dense soil, which is what we need in this world. So tell me about Make Soil.
A few years ago, I went looking for the answer to the question of how do we actually turn this kind of global situation around with the environment and so on. And what's the one thing that everybody can do? Everybody can collect those food scraps that would otherwise go to the landfill. And I think if we do that, we can turn this thing around.
So the platform, how are you doing this? Like, what is it?
There's millions of people around the world who are composting and making soil quietly in their backyards. And it's just not a cultural thing to have ever asked their neighbors, hey, do you want to start bringing your scraps to me?
Thanks to the Make Soil platform, I was able to match with some local contributors to the soil economy. 3 of them being Evan, Sheena, and baby Athena of Raw Republic, a family-owned business serving organic, cold-pressed juice locally here in Austin. And now they're looking for a compost partner to make the most of the juice pulp they generate every day, keeping it out of the landfills. Who do I know that might be interested? Oh, welcome to Earthspeed.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Just tell me about the business and how you got into it and how long it's been going around. Just give me the backstory on Raw Republic.
I think like most health businesses, people start them to heal themselves. So I was definitely in that category of trying to balance my hormones. I was hoping to find an answer through juicing and raw foods and plant-based foods. And what I found was that there was a business niche, and especially in my hometown of Louisiana, it was a food desert per se for things that were fresh. So Evan and I were really the first people in New Orleans to have a cold-pressed organic juice bar. It's really important that we as business owners contribute to that in a way that's not just how do we make fast decisions for the business, but how do we make long-term decisions for her and the community and the world.
I totally agree. A lot of times, especially in this culture, we have this scale mentality. We want to be bigger, but you see the damages that those kinds of businesses do. And a lot of times people scale at the expense of their values.
One of the things that we've changed in the Austin model is we do exclusively glass bottles here. We're getting close to 50% of our bottles back. And then, what we're doing with the compost is kind of another sustainable, cyclical kind of component to how we're wanting to save our juice pulp from all the recipes that we make, this really amazing, vibrant, organic matter that otherwise we were just throwing away. This is just the ginger. Like, we'll press ginger by itself for our shots and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. This one bin is probably less than 1 shift. And so we're probably looking at like 4 or 5 of these a week. Yeah.
Okay, we're in business.
Yeah.
Imagine our community woven together. And I'm not talking just by sidewalks and internet cables, but by the organic threads of a continuous cycle. Picture a neighbor passing a bucket of food scraps over the fence and receiving a bucket of soil in return. Or a local school turning their lunch scraps into rich soil for the community garden. And all this facilitated by an online platform where we can share, source, and make use of these resources.
You should type in Dubai and see what,
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild?
Love it. Can we realistically make enough compost to fuel the amount of food production that we need?
Absolutely, especially if you start thinking in terms of all organic matter needs to return to the earth. And this even includes what comes out of our own bodies, ultimately. We get people to start with separating those coffee grounds and banana peels, But then little by little, people start to realize, wait a minute, what about that leaf? What about that sawdust? What about that piece of cardboard? What about these cotton jeans? Shouldn't it all just be going back into the earth? And the answer is yes.
But what about the cost effectiveness of it? Does it, a lot of people say, oh, it's too expensive to manage that kind of process.
We stop thinking in terms of this kind of centralized, well, we're going to spend $50 million to build one facility and then get a fleet of trucks to go around. And instead, we want a cultural shift so that people are recycling this organic matter in their neighborhoods, in their community gardens, in their parks, in every nook and cranny, and doing it in a very attractive, distributed way.
Decentralized. Localized, yes. I am a soil site. Look, it took me 8 pallets, threw them together, and I have now a beautiful composting bin, and I'm welcoming you to bring me your scraps. Not all of you, because we have a huge fan base.
And that's what the platform does, but we got to make this manageable for everybody, right? And also people don't know what to bring or not to bring. So I realized that that little dash of technology was really what was missing to make it so that this happens smoothly, you're not receiving stuff you don't want to receive, and you only have the number of participants that you can actually handle.
I mean, it's truly incredible. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for doing this, and I'm glad we got connected because I'm going to be using it, and I know these people are as well. I'm really excited about this Composting Exchange.
The app is amazing because everyone makes compost.
We've just been throwing away so much of it. The pulp going into the ground, making compost, us growing out of that soil, and then using those vegetables again to make more product has been always a bigger picture idea that I have for hopefully all of our stores.
Pulp is the best for compost because there's so much surface area. So you put it in there and all the microbes and all the oxygen starts to interact with it, and it starts to break down into beautiful soil. And by the way, the chickens love it as well. And we can actually make really rich, nutrient-dense soil. And what I really love about it is that it deepens community relationship. What you're doing, what we're doing together to actually tend to the earth, tend to the land, tend to each other's health. And we get to do that together because it's not about you as a business in isolation of me and you're trying to sell me stuff. It's about how can we work together to enrich ourselves.
I'm ready to get my hands dirty. Yeah. Are we ready to get our hands dirty?
Yes.
Future farmers of America.
At a conference on regeneration and recycling, musician and advocate will.i.am once said, "Waste is only waste if you waste it." I couldn't think of a better way to explain the potential abundance we often overlook in our everyday consumer habits. And there are more and more solutions showing up every day. Local business owners, growers, and conscious citizens discovering each other through online networks, fostering a resilient community grounded in the shared commitment to regenerate our earth, one action, one connection at a time. I am so grateful to contribute to this cycle, taking Raw Republic's food scraps to grow my own crops here at Earthspeed, closing the loop of this online and global to offline and local collaboration. I mean, I genuinely highly recommend you trying it too, and make soil yourself. Take a shot at composting, maybe find a local soil site or become one yourself. Remember, change doesn't have to be big or complex. Sometimes it can start with the leftovers in your kitchen.